tip.
Good afternoon. It is April 21st, 2025. You're listening to a little column A, little column B, hosted by Will Lemnos, co-hosted by Zach Bishop. How are you doing today, buddy?
What is going on, Will? Happy Easter. I have a brewery over in Belgium, and they have got the right idea. They have the world's biggest beer hunt. They start things off at noon. They have a regular hunt for all the kids. Then at 12:30 sharp, one for the adults. They had over 1,000 people registered to search for hidden bottles of beer. Could I interest you in the world's biggest beer hunt?
Maybe. I don't know. How long are these beers out there? How hard's the hunt?
There were 12,000 hidden bottles out there.
That's too many. Do we keep track of them? What if we forgot one? What are we doing?
What do you mean forgot? There's 1,000 people looking for these things. I don't. And if it's 12,000, I saw a pretty quick video. It was only about a minute long. I don't think that this was a hunt. Might be a little casual.
Is this more fun for you than just going to a brewery?
Yes, this is an event.
This is an event.
I feel like you earned it. You had to go out into the field. You had to, fend off other people also in the hunt. When you just walk up to a bar and you order a beer and everybody does that. Anybody could do that.
You earn the money to pay for the beer. That doesn't count. It seems like the same thing to me. Except I don't have to go find the beer. I still get to enjoy the beer after. I'm paying to do some labor here, and you're like, yeah, this is an event.
You show off your skills, your athletic prowess.
I came here for a beer. I didn't come to do that. I don't need to relive gym class right now. That's not a life I want.
You could do this.
You want to
I would love to relive
past?
gym class.
Gym
There's so much fun stuff going on in gym class.
Zach Bishop. Yeah, I mean, we're just gonna get
that
picked
sounds
first.
awesome.
Line them up.
I think this would be a fun event. You could go buy a beer like a regular person on all the regular other days, but on the one day, world's biggest beer hunt. It's a whole festival. Like I said, 1,000 people signed up, saw the video, had a whole bunch of people dressed up in different costumes. You could definitely tell they're different group costumes. They definitely were having fun with it.
And you want to sell me on this, and you think costumes are going to be the big selling point? Yeah, I'm all for it. I like beer, but you guys don't need to invite me for this part. It's all right. You guys can hunt your own beer. I'll stay here drinking the beer that was just served to me for the same price.
Hold on. There's one last part. There's one last part I didn't mention. Hidden among the beers was one special golden bottle. Do you want to hear what the reward was if you found the golden bottle?
I would love to know what the golden ticket gets you.
The golden bottle gets the finder a prize of his weight in beer.
Interesting. I could see that really adding up for the wrong winner, but maybe you put it in a position where you'd have to be really small to get it, like you bearing this thing under something really narrow. Is there any strategy?
I didn't even think about that.
Is there strategy in all this? Like you put this like at the top of the tree where it's like the big guy's not climbing it. I'm sorry. He's not getting it.
Ooh. I didn't think that through, but I think that might have been smart on their part.
Or is this kind of an inside job? Do you think they kind of handpick who they want to get this?
No, I don't think so.
No?
I think it's cool when you hear it of your weight in beer, but I mean, when you're the producer, I don't think like beer is really like that expensive. So like the weight, I don't think like the difference between a 150-pound guy and a 250-pound guy, I don't think it's really moving the needle that much.
I wouldn't know. It sounds like a lot of product being moved in a fun event that obviously they didn't have a hard time selling out. I mean, they managed to get 1,000 guys and some thousands odd beers given away. There you go. That's an event, and that sounds like I'm on the outside of this. So by all means, go attend all this. Where was this?
This was in Belgium.
Right down the road. Can't wait to go next year. Perfect. Should we talk some NBA playoffs?
I would love to talk NBA playoffs. It was awesome that we had games that actually mattered. We kind of lamented last time how there's been a lot of NBA games where it's the second string playing and kind of, hey, if they aren't putting the effort in, why am I putting the effort in? So that was just nice to know. All the games were all spaced out. You could watch pretty much everyone, back to back to back. 4 on Saturday, 4 on Sunday. Wasn't a lot of compelling games, but was still fun to see the best in the world do it.
Wasn't the greatest set of games. And I don't want to do the whole Monday morning quarterback thing, too, where we only get one game. And how many of these game ones end up not really mattering or the complete opposite of the way the series plays out? It just wasn't great games. I think the only really good game we could talk about and open up with is Denver versus the LA Clippers that actually goes into overtime. There are just more storylines in this game than as close as it was. I know it sounds like we'd be doing a lot of basketball talk, but there's weird things going on in this game with Westbrook decision making, Jokic missing free throws, Van Gundy and Jokic getting in like this tug of war of the ball on the sideline. All of it doesn't sound like it was very related to this game, but I want to get into all of it because I don't think there's really a whole lot else to report here. What was the most shocking thing about this? Is that Westbrook played a whole bunch, or that Westbrook just continued to do some head scratching things at the end of the game, and that they still won?
I If we're going for the most shocking, I think it is none of those things. I think it's Michael Porter Jr. getting sat down the stretch. Where this is a guy that when they won the championship, he was really in the mix and only has 3 points. This game goes into overtime. All the other starters are in the high 40s, and he's only, at 26. Westbrook comes off the bench, and he's the one that plays more of the time. And just like the way it's going, they're paying him so much money, and just to leave that on the table, I'm not even saying that it was a mistake, by this new coach saying, no, I don't know if you should be doing that. It's like, oh, he wasn't playing well, but man, this is gonna be it just makes that hole in their depth just even shallower than I thought it was.
It doesn't make life easier, but have we not seen enough of Porter Jr. where if he doesn't have it, it's not like you're really getting a great defensive game out of him, and let's just find the next guy because we have other guys that are just as mediocre shooters as he is, and that actually might even swing the ball a little bit more because he might be a little bit more trigger happy. So if he's off and he's just as off as the next guy, I want the guy that's going to play with Jokic and move the ball more than what Porter Jr. is going to get. Now, if he's on, that's a huge advantage for this team. They're desperate for somebody to take over and have some points. So I see it and I understand benching him. I don't think he's been completely reliable in every playoff game, but I say all that, and Kawhi and Harden had two of the biggest turnovers in this game where the ball is just tipped off their fingers when they should have possession of this ball. Like, they are in control of this and somehow threw two turnovers away at the end of this game. Do you think that was more excusable or the Westbrook one? Like, what was the bigger turnover?
I think it's the Kawhi one where he just gets it knocked out of his hands. I mean, that just seems like the most, basic, triple threat position. And it wasn't, he was trying to make a move and it went sideways. I mean, if you're talking about the Westbrook turnover at the end, I mean, you got to get a shot off. This is the NBA. This is not college. There's no excuse. Somebody has to get a shot off. That just has to happen. It didn't, but somebody on X, I wish I could remember the name, I think put it best of Westbrook is just the mystery box in Mario Kart. You don't know what you're going to get, and sometimes it's awesome and sometimes it's terrible. And it was all of that all wrapped into one. I mean, that 3-pointer, he is wide open, and even when he took it, I wasn't thinking this is for sure going in. I almost think it might have been better if there was someone a little bit closer to him, but he hits that, and then afterwards, then it gets down to the end of regulation. I thought that Jokic should have shot it, just thinking he's giant. I know the guy's on him, but there's only a few seconds left. You pass it, there's just not a lot of time left. I did think it was tricky, and we just saw this in the national championship game where the guy goes up for the shot, realizes he's going to get blocked, and then just like drops it on the side. And when you do that, you can't pick it up. It'll be a double dribble. So Westbrook thinking and hitting it off of the guy and almost getting it back, I did think was at least creative.
It was creative. The other thing I'll give you is if he does touch it, they get a chance to set up their offense and you get a chance to set up your defense. Versus if nobody touches it and the ball just ticks away, we just play overtime. So like I thought almost not getting the penalty of the double dribble was smart and letting the clock go down. Obviously you want to get a shot off here. So this is, we've already screwed up the main purpose of all of this. But I guess once we're at that point, just let it all tick away and we'll try again later. What was even more inexcusable though was in overtime where they somehow still trust Westbrook to have the ball late in this game. And we're running clock at this point. We are in control. Denver's winning this game. And Westbrook gets the ball and he just drives straight to the basket. It was like no coaching has ever gone inside this mind at all over the last whatever years of his career. Why is he attacking the ball? Why is he doing this? Like, why we don't have one guy that can close out a game responsibly here?
He just did this like not that long ago and lost the game. Like, if not in the past month, it was in the past 6 weeks.
And they still won. And they still won. So, like, if you ask me, I think Denver's in trouble. I already gave you all the excuses, and I just don't think all this stuff's going to go their way again. The only things that like didn't go their way were those Kawhi turnovers were incredibly convenient, and Jokic I don't think is going to miss 2 free throws at the end of the game. I thought that was another one where it's like that doesn't happen. This is the Westbrook spot. They were supposed to blame somebody else, and now we're going to blame Jokic. Luckily, it didn't matter. But I'm worried about Denver. Are you worried about them? Do you think they still have a chance to actually win this series?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I think so. You win this coin flip of a game, and probably the Clippers should have won. But I think that how long is Kawhi going to stay healthy for? I mean, that turnover was bad. It wasn't like he put up crazy numbers. I mean, he was fine, but I mean, they're still running Ben Simmons out there. I mean, not like large minutes, but that seems to kind of let you know this is the depth that they're dealing with. And I think that Harden played well. I thought he hit big shots. Really wasn't expecting it was going to be him versus Westbrook down the stretch. But let's see when this gets a little bit tighter. We've seen Harden in playoff games and when he was younger. So I don't see this as the Clippers are now in this like much better spot even with a loss.
I think they are. I thought Harden had a good game. If you ask me, I don't think Denver really has the pieces to slow down what Harden's going to do to this team. And I didn't think Kawhi had a great game, and I think there's a scenario where maybe Kawhi doesn't turn over the ball there, and he makes a great play, and that's kind of how it's supposed to go. Harden does a lot of work, does a lot of the ball movement, the assists, the alley-oops, some step-back threes, all of that for most of the game. But then when it's crunch time, we give it to the Claw, and the Claw gets a shot off, like a little mid-range thing, and you feel good about it. I thought that's what we were going to get. I think we're going to get more of that the rest of this way, and I don't know what we're going to get out of Porter Jr. Like, what if he's just done after this now? Like, what if do you think how many minutes do you think he plays tonight?
34.
In a win?
Yeah.
All right, so you got Denver
I think this is going to be one of those things where it's going to we said last week this was going to be a tight series, and this is just going to be one where the Clippers just for the rest of this are just going to be kicking themselves saying, you know, if we just won game 1, now this series is totally different. But now we're in the hole. But if we just won, we're in the driver's seat, and Denver has to have the pressure on them. But I think Denver's at home, and I still think that they're the better team.
All right, last little tidbit of the game. Not really basketball related, but smartest guy in the league, right? Jokic, one of the best basketball IQs in the world. Fair to say?
Sure.
Sure?
Yeah.
Why does he think there's going to be a different result if he gets the ball and bounded faster? Like he's just going to beat everyone to it, and that no one else thinks that they're doing this, and he's the smartest person in the world and the only one trying to do this. Like the Van Gundy thing is just an absurd thing of they're trying to review. I understand there's a bit of a delay to give your guys a chance to look at the sideline of all that, but the refs are also trying to understand what's going on also. They're not just going to ignore everything just because Jokic wants to inbound the ball as fast as possible. There are times where I think there's a moment to take advantage of those seconds, but at the end of the game, in a playoff game, we're not just going to skip over this, right? Like I'm anti-reviews, I'm anti the stop of all this, but I think there are moments where they're just not going to pull that off. And he's the smartest guy in basketball IQ-wise in the world. Why does he not see that? Or am I being dumb of not being smart enough to think we could have got away with that?
For sure. I
hear
I hear all the things that you're saying. Horford on the Celtics, he loves to do the same thing. Of any opportunity to try to get the ball in faster, and anybody that wants there to be more basketball, happening faster, I'm on board with. It was never going to work, but I like in general of let's go, come on, let's get the ball in, let's move. Like you said, it was the end of the game. They were gonna review. I mean, this was under what? It was under 2 minutes. What was it? Under a minute at that point. It's like there nothing is fast about this. Like we're gonna have to go and look and find out what happened where. But I like the idea of Joker just trying to make things happen faster, even if it's a little bit ridiculous. What if they did give it to him?
Well,
you ever think about that?
Well, that was the other thing I was going to say. Do we want to reward this? Like, this seems like the Draymond Green, Dylan Brooks antics, where it's like, all right, we know that they have like their own special rules of nonsense where they get a longer leash for certain aggressive things. I'll say just because that their character. Now, on the opposite of that, their character could also go against them, where it's like, well, anything that's like 50-50, they're probably not going to get the benefit of the doubt. But I don't. Do we want more guys doing this? Like, you were going to pay Horford more because he's going to hustle for free throws or something to happen faster? Like, what do you want out of this? Like, do you want more guys doing this then?
Yeah, get the basketball part happening faster.
All right. All right.
I don't think it's really going to make much of an impact most of the time because the referee has to touch it, has to make sure no one's coming in, there's no reviews. But if you can get the ball to the referee and the referee gives you the ball and you can gain a small advantage, go for it.
I don't know. This seems like a youth league YMCA ref that's just paid by the hour and is like, we need to speed this up. Like, I just need to
We
be
gotta
done.
get going.
I got to get out of here. I got places to be. I don't care how this game is. I'm done at the end of as soon as the hour hits. I'm out, and this is great for that. But this is the NBA. We're gonna milk every second out of all this. You know how many advertisers we could show to slow this thing down? I just the
Oh,
idea that
that's right. Yeah, it was never going to work. And what does this work? One every 200 times that the defense is just caught asleep. Like even when you do get the ball quick from the referee, most of the time you pass the ball in fast, and the guys on defense realize they're in a basketball game and just play defense, and there's no real advantage gained. So I think this is it was more of a funny visual, especially where what was it? Was it 2 years ago now where Jokic had the similar jump ball situation with Ishbia, the new owner of the Suns or the potential owner at that time. So I think it's just that this has happened more than once, and I also get it from the Clippers bench side of the gamemanship there. I'm saying, hold on. Well, we're going to hold on to this a little bit, and we're going to make sure that the referees have time to, do this review.
I just think he's causing more of a scene that they don't have to go look at anyways. Like he's not doing this like non-discreetly. He's a 7-foot monster that's grabbing a ball from a normal human being in both of these scenarios. Like this looks like a bully. And these guys aren't players, and there's a little bit of involvement that probably should be related to this. But I just think it's insane that the smartest player in the world thinks he's getting an edge by getting the playoff faster. And maybe I'm naive for thinking it's not that big of an advantage. I just can't believe he's chasing that small of an advantage. This smart
The game
of a guy.
went into overtime. Game of inches, right?
Dude, that's not even an inch. That's a millimeter. That's like that doesn't even work. That shouldn't even work half the time. All right, I thought that was by far the best game, though. Right? Easily the best game.
Oh, easily.
I think the next game,
Kind of some of these other ones are just a matter of how bad they were, not playing wise, but from a competitive standpoint, where this one was right down to the wire. I mean, it was close, pretty, or I guess what the Clippers had a 15-point lead that they blew, but down the stretch it was close in overtime, and so definitely this is by far the most exciting one.
most excited for game 2 of that game. The rest
Tonight.
of the games, there's a lot to take away from that might not mean anything. I think I learned the most from the Warriors-Rockets game 1. I mean, Curry's just hitting crazy shots, but what I took away from it is this just bizarre Houston hierarchy of, I gotta tread the line safely here, but this is just like a weird variety of qualified vets with limited skill sets, and then you have like these youth guys that have all these wild capabilities but don't know how to take a good shot, and we just merge them all together with Van Vliet, Dylan Brooks, Steven Adams playing like very responsible veteran basketball, but they don't have nearly the same capabilities or the ceiling of like all these other young guys on the team. And it just seems like a mess. I don't know how they're going to get out of this. I don't know which direction they're going to go, but it just seems like there's 2 teams within this team, and neither of them are good enough to beat the Warriors. How are you feeling about that? Are you seeing like the same thing where it's either like I watch Fred VanVleet try to take a bad shot, or I watch Jalen Green force a bad shot? And it's like, well, what's better?
The Rockets, or excuse me, the Warriors were pretty much in control for all this game. The Rockets, in the fourth, definitely get it close. I think they got it to within 4, but I have much bigger concerns than I did about the Rockets than I did last week. Last week I was like, I don't know, I think the Rockets are a better team, but after watching it, it has this feel of the Grizzlies a couple of years ago when they had to go up against, they were the young, exciting team. Regular season killed it, all that. But then you have a team like the Warriors that you have the like main Warrior guys, and then you have Jimmy Butler that comes in, and they're craftier. They just know what they have to do, and they just get it done. So I think the Rockets are in trouble.
I think they're in trouble as well. The whole closeout of this game was a disaster. Curry definitely hit some wild shots, and there's things nobody in the world could have done about a lot of these shots, but it's a lot more of the Rockets only had 85 points, and I feel like they were lucky to have 85 points. Like I don't know how they're going to score.
Oh, what they have at the half? Was something like 36,
Bad. And the worst part is
34. They had 34 at the half. That's not enough points at home. I mean, they showed the the graphic at the beginning of the game and all the playoffs games that the Warriors have played. Obviously, it's a ton compared to these guys where there's a lot of brand new. But I don't know if there's enough of a swing just that you're gonna in the next couple of days that now you're all of a sudden gonna be ready for playoffs. And now Warriors take game one on the road. Like now there's gonna be more games at the Warriors like home. So now the Rockets, if they want to even have a chance, they're gonna have to win some games on on the road. And I if you can't win at home, how are you gonna win on the road?
Yeah, no, it's not going to be easy. I'm very curious to see what Ime goes. I don't think he's going to throw in the towel or anything like that, but it would be interesting if he was like, let's just see what the young guys got. And we're going to take a break from Fred VanVleet and we're going to take a break from Steven Adams, even though that was the only chance they had of winning that last game was when those guys came in there. That was their only run was with I thought the veteran kind of guys. But that thing is that veteran
I
guys,
don't.
there's not a good ceiling with that. Like that's not going to beat anybody worth beating.
You have to have somebody to to be handling the ball. So I mean that's where Van Vliet comes in. And then even if you don't want to play Steven Adams so much, I mean he played 20 minutes, but they only played 8 guys. I mean these are playoff rotations. Like the you're not going too far down into into the depth of your lineup. So I just don't know what their options are if you do want to go on younger.
Do you think we're really overlooking Reed Shepard's potential shooting? I can't do what Jalen Green could do, at least not right now. Probably can't trust him as much as Van Vliet right now. But I mean, just a guy that might be able to hit a 3-point shot. Just so many athletes on this team, incredible. Whitmore, whatever, the Thompson guy, like incredible athletes. None of them are shooters. Like none of them are just pure shooters. Like at least Reed could come in and just pop a three in the corner. I just think it's wildly overlooked.
I mean maybe, but I just don't think he's had enough playing time, and I think that it's on the easier side of like the skill sets of, hey, get in the corner, be ready to shoot. But I still think that it's a skill that you have to develop. And I don't think that he has it yet. Not that he can't get it, but just you come off cold and you're only going to get what, 8-10 minutes. Maybe you get 2 shots. It's like, you have to hit this. I don't think that's going to work.
I think I just trying to replicate what Boston does so well, where the ball goes to somebody in the corner, and not only are they capable of the three, they're capable of a lot of offensive variances once they catch the ball, whether it's drive, kick, pass, get someone else open again. And I look at all these teams, and specifically like Houston, I mean, even the Warriors have flaws too, where it's like the ball kicks out to the wrong guy. It doesn't matter how good of a playmaker Curry is. It doesn't matter if Jimmy Butler is able to get the free throw lines. At some point, this ball is going to go to somebody open in the corner. It's going to come down whether or not they can make it. I'm doubting Houston's ability for being able to make that type of shot.
This is one of the things that makes the Celtics so successful. Is, I mean, except for Luke, everybody out there is gonna shoot threes and is capable and is ready and wants to and has the like ultimate green light. Where you look at the the Rockets team and you got some guys, more than one, that aren't going to be shooting. So one, if you pass it out to them, they don't want the ball there. So, well, you probably shouldn't even have the ball there. As well as now, if the guy gets the ball in the corner, say, it gets to, Jalen Green in the corner, but his guy closes out hard. He pump fakes. He goes to go in. Well, now the guy that's guarding Steven Adams knows that, well, he's not going to be shooting threes. So then he is, in the lane, which kind of prevents him from being able to attack, as well as if a team was all the way spaced out.
Defense is hard when you have to worry about everybody. If you give anybody an advantage on defense, be like, we don't have to worry about this one thing, it just makes life so much easier. It's one less thing to worry about. You have to worry about so much stuff with the Boston Celtics of who's got the ball, how much time is left, who's going to get another three off. There's not really a relief. There's not like, oh, thank God that guy got it, which I think so many of these teams have a bailout guy on a defense here where it's like, well, if you have a Westbrook out there and you're not worried about him shooting and you're almost begging him to shoot, what is the guy that's supposed to be defending him doing? Like you said, he's just ready for help. He's ready to do whatever else he needs to do. And that's helping whatever advantage. Like he's doubling Jokic. He's doubling someone else.
You're running a different offense, as well as you're mentioning how the Rockets are going to work their offense. But you also on defense, you have to be locked in on Steph Curry at all times. That one shot where he was going left to right, I don't remember who was guarding him, but it was draped all over him. I don't know how he got the shot off. It just still, it somehow just still makes it. It you just watch and just go, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what you were supposed to do there. Like you couldn't have got any closer to him. It couldn't have been more of a ridiculous circus shot. But that's Steph.
We'll see what Steph's got. That was a wild Steph game. And they're going to need more wild Steph games like that.
Well, he started slow too. I mean, it turns out had a phenomenal points. The percentages look good, but I think he started off 0 for 4 from 3. So if he starts off a little bit better, but I would like to think that the Rockets could get a little more creative with their defense, like you just mentioned. Of the Warriors have some guys that aren't really interested in shooting threes, but they've been doing that for a while, and that's where they have an offense specific for it.
Well, Draymond does the off ball, not wanting to shoot thing kind of better than most guys because he's setting back screens for guys. Sure. He's cutting. He's definitely rebounding a lot more. I think a lot of these guys get pinned in the corner and they stay out of the play because they're there to space. And even though they can't shoot, they're just spacing still. That guy never rebounds when you're just spacing there too. Draymond, I feel like, goes after that knowing, well, I'm not going to do anything with this here. If the ball goes up, I'm going to do something about it. Versus some of these guys, I feel like they get, Tobias Harris ghosts just start disappearing and they're just sitting in the corner and you forget they're even there. And suddenly a 10-point lead is not a 10-point lead for the other team. There's a huge flip around here. Let's talk about the Knicks Pistons next, where it is a complete collapse at the end of the game.
Oh, hold on. Just one last thing. And this has been, happening the past few weeks. Kuminga does not play coach's decision. Think he's done for the playoffs? Do you think that this is for this specific series? If they win, it could come up in the, in the next series. But where, you mentioned for the Rockets, you mentioned Reed Shepherd's. Like, Reed's a rookie averaging, I think it's, in 50 games, 4-point-something points, just like not really getting, a lot of run, where, Kuminga has been very much in the mix, especially against the Rockets earlier this year.
He can't play with Curry and Butler. It's a bad lineup. It hasn't worked. So unless something happens to one of those guys, I don't think you're bringing in Kuminga.
Okay.
That's just what I'm saying. And I don't have a lot. You have a lot more arguments for you than I do for me because my arguments within the last couple of weeks. So this is all very new. I wouldn't say there's a ton of evidence to support what I'm saying, but that's what I've seen and that's what I've heard from the last couple of weeks. Even though you have, like 70 games of arguing for what you just said. So I don't know. This might be another one where you can hold on Kerr, and I can already kind of hear you leaning towards it. This is a little. You've called Kerr some names in the past, especially during the Summer Olympics. So I'm just wondering, is there a little bias in there, or are we starting to maybe add up on some of these Kerr mistakes?
It's going to be interesting. I mean, it's not even. We're talking about some of the other guys of tried them, just didn't have it today. We're moving on, immediately. Just you don't even get into the game, and this has been kind of going on for a little while now. In the playing games, and what kind of adds to this is the last year of his contract, so he's still on his rookie deal. So I imagine that the Warriors will offer him a deal as a restricted free agent, but I just wonder, as a restricted free agent, does maybe he get creative saying, hey, why am I going to come back here if you saw what I did in the regular season and then you make a trade and then I don't get any playing time? I think that this might have just not for this year, but could have more long-ranging implications.
For my argument earlier of saying this lineup doesn't play very well, I still would play him. I still think the overall benefit of playing him, even if it is negative against whatever numbers you have saying this lineup's not very strong, to just avoid this story. Why do we need this now? Like, they won. They won a game, and we're talking about Kuminga not playing the last 2 games they won. Until they start losing, maybe we could bring it all up. But this is another one where I think Kerr is trying not to let the media make decisions for him, but then he goes so hard against it that it just boils up into more attention that I don't think this ultimately benefits the team. Like, he would have just better off taking the L, playing Kuminga 10 minutes, 5 minutes each half, and that just being that. And maybe Kuminga would have played great and you could have played him more, or maybe he would have played bad and you could have said, yeah, I only played him 5 minutes. That's what we did with Porter Jr. He only gets, 17 minutes in that game?
No, it was like 25.
All right. Well,
25, 26.
Either way, I'm with you that this does seem like a a choice of a route that is not going to have a good resolution. Like what? Kuminga's already had problems with this. This is a known situation. There was already a playing time. The argument, what, last year was that? How many years in a row is it going to be the Kuminga versus Kerr thing?
It, that's what we're gonna find out.
All right, let's move on. Knicks Pistons. Which half you buying here? The Pistons having pretty much control of this game up to about the fourth quarter, which begins with a Dennis Schroeder 5-second violation to start the fourth. Man, not what you want to drop. Just rough. This isn't even fun to talk about.
From a veteran.
I mean, supposedly the guy you brought in that was a great deal that other teams supposedly wish they wanted. It didn't cost you anything, and it seems like it cost you something now. Was this the Knicks game the whole entire time, or did the Pistons really blow this?
I think it might have been the young Pistons just, you know, losing exactly where they were, because yeah, they started off well, and then going into the fourth, it's like, okay, got I think it was an 8-point lead. It's like, okay, all right, Knicks, what do you got? I mean, it's the NBA. 8 points isn't much, but then to give up what was it, 24 to zip? I mean, to campaign of all people. I mean, do you think the average fan knows that that campaign is still in the league and was playing for the Knicks? I'm not so sure.
No,
And I thought it was big of the Knicks to not panic. I think that it's not that long ago that this would have been a prime spot for the Knicks to panic and lose the game and be even more panicked. But they have Brunson to just lock in with campaign and say, all right, nope, we got this, and turn a deficit, almost a double-digit deficit, into not even a close game. Nope, no worries. Cruise on into game two.
The whole game I was like, I don't think the Knicks were a lock. Everyone around me had money on the Knicks, thinking that they had the biggest spread and that this would be like the safest bet in your parlays. And I just thought that Detroit was like a tough team. Like I didn't think they were going to be perfect at closing it out, but I thought they were going to be a really tough defensive team with a lot of annoying guys that were just going to frustrate the Knicks. And it felt like they did that for 3 quarters. And then the quarter that it mattered, where all of the effort was going to calculate into whether or not it was worth it, they just disappeared entirely. I don't want to spend too much time on a game that ultimately really wasn't that great. But if you're Detroit, what do you do differently? You try to do it for 4 quarters, or is this more of a reality of that the Knicks have really figured this out? That regardless of how we close this out, these guys can't score at the end of the game, and we can.
I don't think it's something necessarily that's been figured out. I think that just like with the Rockets, a lot of these guys, this is their first playoff game, so just kind of getting that through and realizing, it's not just the start of it. It's that the teams are going to be playing a little bit harder the rest of the way. It'll be interesting to see. Isaiah Stewart is questionable. I didn't see earlier whether he's playing or not in an hour or so. But on the Knicks side, how concerned are you about Mikal Bridges?
He's fine. He's fine. If you're going to get a good campaign game, that's great. He doesn't need to play 40 minutes. Play 29.
I don't think you're going to get very many of those. In a game that you won by double digits, Mikal Bridges was a -16. And, I don't want to get too into plus minuses in one game, but I mean, for a guy that you put so much draft capital into, it just seems like too often this is sometimes the result.
Maybe he still plays 29 minutes. I think we're always on Thibodeau for playing everybody too many minutes. 29 is like responsible. OG plays 44. That's irresponsible in game 1. Josh Hart plays 30. Karl-Anthony Towns 39. Jalen Brunson 40. So like somebody's got to play 29 minutes if someone else like campaign's going to suddenly play 15. Who would you want to take the other guys out? Like this.
I just. I mean, it's not like campaign scored 30 points. It wasn't
no, but it was like 10 in the fourth, though. That was,
it wasn't a Peyton Pritchard situation of a guy off the bench is like scoring a lot of points. It was for sure helpful in that stretch. Was exactly what they needed. It was very impressive. It's just more on, okay. So, and sometimes that's all you need. You need a role player to step up, get you a win. But if I was a Knicks fan, it's just I think I'd be a little frustrated that this guy that we brought in just doesn't seem to quite have it. And maybe just one game. Maybe just one game. Maybe tonight he's got it all together. The 3 balls hitting, but I don't know. Just
I'm just
something to
saying,
monitor.
what if tonight they like Mitchell Robinson, the guy they've been waiting all year to play, only played 18 minutes? Like, what if Robinson plays more this game and OG Anunoby plays less? Are we just gonna have the same conversation about him the next game?
No, because Mitchell Robinson is his role is it's just totally different. Where he's not really supposed to score a lot of points. He's supposed to be a defensive anchor and a rim runner. Where Mikal Bridges is like he's supposed to be a lockdown defender and supposed to be able to be able to score and hit threes. And I don't know if he's doing either.
I'm not worried about him. They won. They'll be fine. The way they won, and with him having a bad game, just imagine him making a couple more shots. They're going to win by even more. I thought this series was going to be closer. I'm not nearly as excited to watch the next game. I just feel like the Knicks are just a step above this team. And they could maybe play a step back and play low down to this Pistons level. But if they show up like they did in game one and close it out, I think we're going to see a similar result over and over again here. Move on to another game.
I think Brunson just means business, and especially against a team like this, he could just dictate exactly what he wants to happen.
Now let's talk Wolves Lakers.
Oh,
yeah,
the surprise!
Let's do it. Luka Magic was the only thing.
The surprise of Saturday night.
The only good thing going for LA was Luka Magic. This was a game that I walked away from thinking Minnesota is bigger, faster, and younger, and has a star player. Well, are we overlooking all of this? The Lakers make you overthink so much. They've got, for Luka for one, they've got LeBron with all these experience, and JJ's been a pretty good coach. Austin Reeves has got the best contract per dollar. I don't know, man. This looked bad. This looked like this was figured out. I mean, they get a good Luka game out of this. No other help beyond it, but just no shooters on this Lakers team, man. Like we talked earlier about having like the weak link on the court. It just seemed like they don't have it. And if you're going to get meanwhile, Minnesota, you're going to get a great game, 22 of 42 from three, and then you're going to get 48 from Nas and Jaden McDaniels in a game like that. This game didn't even look close to me. These look like two separate teams right now, and this is a very rebuilding phase for the Lakers. All right, we got Luka. I'm sure as hell I think they wish they had Mark Williams last night. Do you want to answer that one first? Do you think that's their biggest mistake?
Well, yeah, that's still weird how that all fell apart. But I agree on the Wolves just looking bigger, and just sometimes like, hey, you know what's really helpful for basketball? Having guys that are just bigger than the other team's guys. But I also agree with Luka had a great game. That's exactly what you want, and even LeBron, decent game. Percentages are a little low, but that's the thing. Is like those are the guys, and there's really not much past that. I still think that when you have LeBron and Luka on a team, like they could just figure things out the way other teams can't. But maybe they haven't quite got that chemistry down yet.
So Luka got 37. If we need 50 to win now, that's what?
No, because I mean, look at the Wolves. They take 43s. That's a lot. That's a lot of threes, and they hit 50%. They're not going to hit 50% the rest of the series.
Maybe. Do the Lakers look like they really had the defense to control this team anyways? I mean, we talk about the size. What about just matching up man to man? What is their answer for Ant-Man over there? I feel like he could do whatever he wants, and McDaniels was able to do whatever he wanted. I think that this is a big problem.
Ant's a star. He can look like that at times, but I mean, he led the league in threes this year, and made threes. We talked about it last week. I don't think everybody necessarily realizes that, but I think that there's going to be variance there. And one of these games, they're going to shoot 25% from three, and it's not gonna look so good. But winning a game as the 6th seed on the road, it's impressive and puts you in a good situation. Now the Lakers got to press. Now they got to figure something out.
I don't know how they're going to get bigger. Like I wouldn't be shocked if their big man, if Jackson Hayes disappears entirely from the rest of this series, I wouldn't be shocked. What is he? He's only 8 minutes in this game.
They can get Luka going, get him with Gobert in the pick and roll, get the switches that they want, and I think they can attack that way.
He did it last year, Luka, against this Minnesota team, where I had him already written in the finals because it was a miracle they beat Denver. And then Luka just embarrassed him for an entire round. It was like, doesn't matter.
Randall's not going to shoot this well night after night. Like, this is going to even out.
Maybe. I didn't even feel like they needed all of that. I didn't even think this was that great of a Randall game. And if I'm the Lakers, I still think a lot of things went your way, and it still wasn't enough. Well, all right, maybe more happened. It'll be a little bit of a game one overreaction for here.
I mean,
Anything else for this game?
when you're getting Randall going 4 for 6 from three, and you got Naz Reid going 6 for 9 from three, I agree that some of that is, you're not guarding these guys as close as you're supposed to, but there's going to be some variance there where you're going to get a 1 for 6 game and a 2 for 7 game out of Naz Reid.
Has Austin Reeves' confidence maybe gone a little too high? I don't know if you saw some of these shots he was chucking up there, and maybe it's in some of it of a competitive desperation, but I'm all for Reeves being confident and improving as a player, but I just thought some of these shots were Luka-like shots that he's not Luka yet. Ready shots like he can't take these deep threes like that. I don't know. I don't know what LeBron teammate he thinks he is now.
I think, and we're talking about all of these games. It's 2025. If you're not scoring 100 points, there's something wrong. Something needs to be better.
All right, the rest of the games, nothing super exciting to talk about. Let's just quickly run through them. Pacers, Bucks, 117-98 Pacers. Playoff Giannis is back, but this wasn't nearly enough, and Dame's supposed to come back, but I don't think there's enough. Even if you added Dame to this game, did you feel like that this was a possibility for Milwaukee to win the series? They just look slow. They can't get any stops. They can't shoot.
This is kind of what they've been all year. Even with Dame, it just hasn't quite been there. Super surprised. Blood clots, with anytime I feel like I've heard blood clots in the past, it's been super serious. I mean, they shut down Wemby automatically. The situation was a little bit different. So for him to be off of the meds and he's questionable for game 2, probably trying to get in shape, as fast as possible. But this isn't prime Dame. This is all right. Dame can help a little bit. Couldn't believe Kuzma. It's not even a trillion. The 22 trillion. How do you not get any stats? Like, even by accident? How?
I don't know what you're doing out there the whole time. Did you not touch the ball once? You don't have 0 points, 0 assists, 0 rebounds in 22 minutes.
0 steals, 0 blocks. I mean, I get it. Sometimes the shot's not on, but just nothing. And it wasn't, you only played 2 minutes. You get to get the 2 trillion. It's like 22 minutes and nothing? No help?
This team can't score. This was the biggest victim of my open three theory from the beginning here. They have the most missed shots of anyone here, where it's like Giannis does something, kicks out, and who's shooting? Oh, great. We'll see what he's got today. It doesn't look like it's going to be great. They didn't even play Brook in the fourth quarter, which they kind of got this game down to 9 at one point, and I thought maybe they'd pulled the trigger. Is Brook their best three-point shooter on the team? Because I kind of still think Brook is their best three-point shooter. And when they were down 9 in the fourth and deciding not to put their best three-point shooter in the game, I didn't know if that was strategy of resting a veteran like Brook, or if we're just trying to see if we can find somebody else out of all this. I don't know. I think out of the guys you would want to trust on this team, I thought Brook was the easier one. Instead, we're playing Kyle Kuzma with the quadruple zeros. And should we be looking at Doc and all this, or is this roster just not capable of it?
I just think that the roster, it got too expensive. They made some moves, and the moves have not worked out. I think when they had better teams was when Giannis got hurt, and now unfortunately the guys got too expensive around him. Brook is much much older, and he's trying as best he can out there, but he's not a young dude.
I guess I just would have rather watched Brook chuck up threes in the fourth than anyone else on this team. Like AJ Green, he could shoot. That's fine. Gary Trent, he could shoot, but those guys don't play at the same time. I'm a little over watching, Taurean Prince chuck it up, or Kevin Porter Jr. chuck it up, or I don't know, Kyle Kuzma, I guess not do anything, but that's I don't know. This team needs help. This seems like the biggest argument for Giannis to get the hell out of here was just watching this game. Was clearly nothing could be his fault. Like nothing. He has 1 assist in this game. Do you know how many times Giannis passed this game? Only one time did somebody help him. One time.
Not only that, no other starter was in double digits, and 2 of the starters had 0 points. I mean, we joke about this guy's got no help. I mean, no, this really he had no help.
Well, I think that this was actually the worst situation of all the teams could be in. Despite Memphis losing by 51, I still think Milwaukee's in a worse position, even if Dame comes back. Like the writing's on the wall. This seems like Giannis should be looking elsewhere because I don't know who's coming to join this, and I don't know what outs they have of turning whatever they have here into anything better. It just all seems like a downgrade and a wasted year that Giannis just shouldn't have to ever waste. This is a problem. I think Indiana's in a good spot here. Let's go on to the next game here and talk a little bit about that Thunder blowout.
Oof.
The Grizzlies, John Morant swore that they'll never get blown out like that again. Is that what I heard? There's a lot of talking.
He did not say he didn't say they'd never get blown out like that again. He said they'd never play that poorly again.
Oh, all right. Well, I'm all ears post game for John. I just can't wait to hear what he's got to say after a 51-point loss. There's got to be something to say. The guy's still talking trash after a 51-point loss.
You thought that was talking trash? I didn't think that was talking trash at all.
Oh no, you didn't think it was like this is never going to happen again sort of feeling. I kind of got that vibe.
I think it was. This is the worst that I've ever seen. Like, it would be almost impossible to go lower than this.
All right, that's fine. He doesn't always strike me as the most mature guy, so forgive me for going the immature route.
I mean, are we just gonna just glaze right over how this is maybe the Marvin Bagley game? Maybe this is what turns his career around.
The foul trouble was real, and I think that's part of the problem from the initial blowout. There's like 3 blowouts within this game where it just got worse and worse and worse. It just grew. It just seemed. First of all, you talk about the team not scoring 100 points. We get 80 in a game here. The whole game, they get 80 points.
Dude, I mean, you don't see this very often. Desmond Bane, minus 51. Just unreal. I mean, OKC jumped all over him right from the start. Similar to the Rockets, where 36 at the half, it's not enough points. Not enough points in an NBA game. It's not enough points in a college game. And wasn't even close to stopping OKC. I think that we knew that OKC was good. I think that there's been some attempts to say, oh, OKC got to rest all this time. These other teams had to, do these playing games. It's like, well, yeah, part of this is on purpose. Like, you're punished for having to play in these playing games. But I don't think that it was 30 plus points worth of, oh, we're tired. It was like you're playing back to back. You didn't play 3 games in 3 nights. You played almost like a normal regular season schedule. And I'm not going to allow that to be used as an excuse.
Not much really to report here. This wasn't a game. This was the only game where it was like, wow, all right, well, I guess we'll tune in later and see if this is any closer. And every time I tuned back over, it was like, oh man,
it got worse.
Just worse. And worse.
Every time.
You talk about the Bane plus minus. That's the lowest plus minus in a single playoff game ever. The funny part is he also is tied for the most plus minus with LeBron James and James Harden of all time for a single game in previous year as well. So both ends of the spectrum for Desmond Bane.
Wow. What's crazy too is he only played 27 minutes. It's just like
the worst 27 minutes you could have played, but yeah, sure.
Yeah. Just woof, man. But that's a rough one. That's just especially as a new coach coming in. I think you just destroy the tape of this one and just hopefully game 2 there's something positive to take out of that one.
They're outmatched.
Think too is, did you see Shea stats in this one?
No,
he didn't even play well.
Yeah, no, the Thunder didn't do anything special at all. Everybody played. I mean, Caruso only plays 12 minutes. That was like their big addition to the offseason. They traded Giddey for all this. He plays 12 minutes in the playoff game. There are so many guys on this team more qualified than Caruso, who I'm still willing to acknowledge is a very good player in the NBA. This team's loaded.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. In the game, you're up 50 points. Like, everybody gets to play extended minutes, for sure. But yeah, it was just more surprising, when it was still a game. You're thinking, oh, well, for sure, Shea had to be, doing well. And then you look, it's like, oh, no, he wasn't even good in this game. So what happens when he is not even just amazing like he's likely to be, just average?
Yeah, I got no solutions for Memphis. I think they have the biggest flaw of not really having that great of a defense and not really having that great of an offense. There's a lot of inconsistencies both ways of this team, and I don't know what home run they're going to have to hit on one end to even have a chance in this game. This seems
so
like
clearly this won't happen for monetary reasons, but I heard this on 2 different major sports podcasts. I heard this on PMT and I heard it on Bill Simmons, and wondering your thoughts on if in a playoff game, if you lose by 50, the series is just over.
No, it's not over.
You want to see more of this?
Kind of. I want to see more job post games. I want to see whoop that trick being
When they
played
lose by
by
35, and
OKC.
then you can
Yeah.
go, you can come and go. Well, we didn't play as bad as in game one.
Yeah. Well, this is also a team that fired their coach, 3 weeks ago. So I have no sympathy for them being a little lost right now. They've signed up for everything they've signed up for. They've had 82 games to examine this team. And they were good at one point. They were the 2 seed for most of this year. So it's just the second half of the year. They didn't beat any team that was worth beating. They didn't beat anyone over 500. They didn't beat any playoff teams. They won the minimum amount of games to make the playoffs. They get in the play-in game and they get in. Like, this isn't like a team that should be thriving right now. I think why it feels like they should be thriving is that this window with Jaw is kind of closed right now. And it felt like it was open for the last couple of years, and he kind of wasted some opportunities, but being I don't know, but immature off the court.
I like the idea. 50 seemed like a good number. If you get beat by 50 points in a playoff game, so you're starting all of your guys. This isn't a regular season game where it's like, we're really starting our guys. You know how serious this is. If you, at your very best, cannot stay within 50 points of a team that's in the same league as you, you're done. Your season's over. You had a good run, like you mentioned, I guess, but you already fired your coach. You want out. We want out as fans. This wasn't competitive. You're done. Go fishing.
Maybe. I do think that there's the first game that doesn't really mean anything. Like the Celtics normally lose the first game. I was shocked we beat Orlando the way we beat Orlando. We're significantly better than them. It's just more of the fall asleep at the wheel the first game. The other team's super hyped up to be there. It's the playoffs. Everything matters a little bit more. Intensity picks up, and it's like a wake-up call that you didn't really acknowledge yet. And you fall asleep game one, you get blown out by a ton, and then you win the next 4 games, and it means nothing.
There's a difference between getting blown out, which I don't think has happened to the Celtics in those first games. I think they've been favored heavily, so just any loss almost looks like or feels like a blowout because, based on the spread. But 50 is more than a blowout. Like, we're talking mercy rule situation here.
50 was bad. This needed a mercy rule. The fact they had to play out this whole game, the fact that fans
look
had
at
to
how many of these teams we're talking about that didn't even score 50 points in a half. And that was the difference in one team versus the other one.
Yeah, no, it's not great. It's not great. It's not great. But you know what? That's what the best team in the league should do to other teams. That's why you get the 1 seed. That's why you play the 8 seed. This is an 8 seed versus a 1 seed. Let's talk Boston. Jalen's back. It looked all right. I thought this was just a great team effort by everybody. This was move the ball. Somebody's going to be open. Derek White's that perfect guy to have the ball swing to, and it was a lot of that. I'm not shocked that we had this one handedly. You seemed a little bit nervous about this, but I was confident that this was going to be a sweep regardless if we played Atlanta or the Magic. And here we are, and I feel very confident with all of that. How are you feeling?
Our top guys didn't even play well. Derek White is just awesome. Both ends of the court. He scores. He plays defense. It's exciting. All the stuff that he does. The steal on Paulo at the end of the half. It's just one of my favorite type of steals where, the big man is focused on trying to, get into the paint and is not expecting to get double teamed in that spot. And when you're the guard coming up from the paint, it's just, as soon as you get your hands on the ball, you're already going, the other direction. You already got to step on everybody else. It's very fun when your team's in the playoffs to watch them win. That was fun. I enjoyed that. I was never concerned. Got beat on the boards pretty bad in the first half, but cleaned that up. But even being, down a little bit at the half, it was only Paulo and Franz, and I just felt confident we were going to be able to get it together. I think the most nervous I was when Tatum fell. He got hit hard. They ended up making it a flagrant, which of course Doris and the crew were shocked by. Big surprise there, but. You look like you land on his wrist hard. Seems like everything's okay afterwards. I did see a funny video. I saw 2 funny videos. One of them was it showed Naz standing on the sideline, the trainer coming up to him putting his hand out to let the trainer know don't go over there yet, and then yelling to Tatum to get up. That was funny. And then after the game, when Tatum was walking to the locker room, his mom was there and asked Tatum if she needed to go to the Orlando locker room as a joke. So those were 2 fun videos.
This is a 2-man team for Orlando. Paulo's 36 and Wagner's 23. Corey Joseph plays 26 minutes, has 2 assists, 0 points, and 0 rebounds. Gary Harris, the other veteran, has one rebound, 0 assists, and 0 points in 14 minutes. They're so desperate to find something for Suggs, and that's what you filled in for Suggs.
Yep.
Cole Anthony, 10.
It's too bad. It's too bad they don't have Suggs, because Suggs is a gamer. He's not the best scorer at this point of his career in the NBA, but like plays defense, and I do think that it would make a difference. Where they for sure could use a guard that could create more offensively. That is not Suggs right now, but you can just tell there's like there's a gap that's missing, and they only scored 86 points.
This is starting to feel a lot like a Michigan State team, man, where it's like they're just never going to be shooters. This is never going to be a shooting team. They can run the best offense in the world.
Why they're so good in the first half about getting rebounds. Of like, hey, we're going to have to get all of the rebounds if we want to have any shot in this game.
Yeah, don't love that chance. I feel good about Boston, and if I'm Orlando, what was the big move you made over last year to this year? It was the Caldwell Pope thing to spread out the shooters, because I think they do still run a good offense. They just get the wrong guy shots. They don't have the same threats. I mean, Paulo and Franz are definitely improving still. I wouldn't say maybe Franz is probably maybe peaked a little bit, but that's still a pretty high ceiling. It's just not great shooting. And if they're also the only 2 playmakers and the other guys can't play make for you, it just seems like all the wrong guys are shooting at the wrong times. They just need more 3-point shooting to have any chance to stay with these Boston offenses. I mean, it's an absurd barrage of threes that you are competing with. And the fact that you're like, well, we're going to try to play with our weakness the entire time, that's gonna be hard.
It's gonna be very tough.
Last game here: Cavaliers versus the Heat, 121-100. Heat culture. What do we think? It's still alive? I mean, Hero had a decent game here. They get 100 points right on the dot.
I think Sam Merrill was locking them up. I mean, it turns out it's a 20-point game. For most of it, like the Heat just kind of hung around, where the Cavs always kind of had them at arm's length, and then at the end they're able to make the push. But there was at least a little bit of a chance, like maybe they're going to do something. But similar to the other side, this is a 1 versus 8. Miami scraps their way to just get into the playoffs. So like they've already kind of been successful on where they ended the season to like get in here. So I mean, if they can even just get like 1 win, like good for them. But this is over. They had I want to say a nightmare of a season, but there's been other teams where it's been way worse. So the whole Jimmy Butler thing, and they just got to be happy to like be done with that off season, reset, and attack it fresh next year.
Davion Mitchell, a nice takeaway from the year. 18-9-4 in 34 minutes in game 1. Excellent playing games, huge playing games. He completely takes over. There's the reason they're in this game, even in this series, is because Davion Mitchell earlier the week. No love.
We'll see if it continues.
All right, yeah, no, we'll see. I just think it's a nice little gem to find at the end of the year here if you're Miami, because a lot of things, like you said, just didn't go our way. They were good enough to just get in, the first 10 seed to get in. They're just not good enough to beat a 1 seed. Cleveland's really good. And it has a really good defense.
Sure.
All right, what else we got for NBA? Anything else?
No, I think that's enough NBA.
NFL draft. It's this week. You asked me who I wanted the Patriots to pick, and I said that's all we would talk about for the NFL draft. I kind of answered your question, but I didn't answer it directly. I said I would tell you what I wanted the Patriots to do, and I'm going to tell you this before you tell your pick, because I want to go back in time and not play Joe Milton so this draft could goddamn matter. Because right now it just seems like every time I look at it, it's like, wow, there's a lot of potential in all this. It's like, there'd be so much more potential if we had the number 1 pick. This would be so much more exciting, and I have lost all excitement. We're just going to get whatever's left, so why am I going to bother stressing it? What leftovers do you want, Zach? Excite me.
You do realize it didn't matter who we played, right? We were playing the Bills. I warned you the week before. I said the Bills are going to tank this game on us.
You asked what I wanted the Patriots to do, and you thought it was just for the draft. I want to go back in time and do. That's what I want.
A time machine. You're going to use a time machine and then use it. It's not even going to work. You're going to use the time machine, and we're going to be right back in the same situation. Or worse, a worse situation where we play Drake May and we win and he gets hurt or something crazy. I don't know. But no, I actually picked a person. I'm looking for edge rusher Abdul Carter from Penn State. I think that we will have to shore up our line in the later rounds. I think that he is going to be like the best talent right there. I think that it's not going to matter a ton. We still have a long ways to go. One pick is not going to make the difference, but we're going to need some defense, and that's what I'm going with.
Any interest in trading up or trading back? Do you want to just
No,
stay at 4?
well, I don't want to trade up. I'd be fine with trading back and trying to fill out more spots if that's if that's what the war room thought. There's someone you want to trade up for?
I kind of like the guy that plays both ways. All right, that seemed like the perfect Patriot for me, and it seemed like if we replay a couple weeks ago, there's a really good chance we end up with that guy. I don't even want to say his name because we're not going to get him, and it's a dream that I just don't have. I can't have anymore. I gotta accept the reality that we're gonna get your edge rusher or whoever, or we're probably gonna. Belichick's not even in the building anymore, and if we trade back, I swear to God, I'm be like, how have we not adjusted from this at all? I hope we just take somebody. I don't care though. I'm not gonna watch. Are you gonna watch?
Yeah, I'll watch. But it's the 4th pick. It's what we're gonna be like 20 minutes in. Yeah, I'll watch that.
I mean, do you care who goes number 1? It's not like there's really a lot of controversy. It seems like everything's fairly figured out. I mean, I don't know what the Giants are going to do. That has a little bit of a question mark. But then it seems like regardless of what they do, they're screwed. So it doesn't really affect anyone else. Like, the one thing I'll say about this draft, do you think there's any player getting drafted like early on that's going to actually turn a franchise around? Because I think all these franchises that these players are going to, even if the players or the picks end up being good, are in bad situations. That there's not really a player good enough to do a Jaden McDaniels thing overnight. I don't think there's a player out there.
I mean, I think that's how it always works. Is the best guys at the top go to the worst teams, and that's by design. But I think that the quarterbacks this year are not even close to the quarterbacks from last year. So I think that's going to be the issue.
Yeah. What's going on with AJ Brown? You want to talk about a stolen car?
Yeah. So AJ Brown got his car stolen last night, and so not thrilled about it. So he puts out, hey, somebody stole my car. If you stole it, if you bring it back today, no worries. But if you don't, you're gonna have to suffer the consequences. I don't know exactly what that means. Later in the day, found out the police did find his car in New Jersey, and I'm just wondering. We've seen more of these break-ins happening at athletes' houses. Are there more of it? Is it just more on TV? And you steal a car from a rich guy. I think there could be a certain level of, general community of well, screw that. The guy, he's rich. He's got insurance. Not going to impact him. This guy, is just a hustler. But I'm thinking if you go and you steal Super Bowl winning wide receiver AJ Brown's car, I don't know if people around are going to be so helpful of saying oh yeah, I'm not going to tell the police. It's no, he helped us win a Super Bowl. No, we want him to be happy.
I don't think that they knew it was his car. I think this is one of the situations where you're like, it's a nice car. Screw the rich guy. He's got insurance. He'll be fine. I'm going to joyride around this for a little bit. And then later in social media, oh no, this is that guy's car. All right, well, I've had my fun. Put it back. I don't know. I'm not really into the Fast and Furious of real life, so this is just beyond interesting. I'm glad he got the car back. It seems ridiculous to even steal a car.
Yep. So he's that guy's in custody. He's gonna be in trouble. I don't know how much Big Dom was involved with this, but wouldn't surprise me if he was he was involved. He's basically the one that helped the police find the car.
Yeah, all right, well, maybe we'll have some more NFL talk. We'll talk all the draft. I'll accept whatever the Patriots' future is, and maybe there's some trades and some more news and all that, and we'll have a ton of NBA playoffs and more Celtic blowouts, hopefully. I remind everyone to subscribe. Little of column A, little of column B. You can follow the podcast on Spotify, YouTube, or on our Facebook page. You can follow Zach on his X account, which is
Wicked Z-Man 24.
Anything else for the people out there?
Yeah, one small thing. I'm an F1 fan now. So I've been watching. I got all caught up, and this is my first weekend watching it live. So if anybody wants to talk F1, I am still learning, but yeah, I'm a fan now.
Maybe next year, not for me. You already got so much college basketball and college football out of me. It's gonna turn to the Zach Bishop show. All right, I just gotta be a little column A left here. We'll be back.
Little column A, little column B.